All right, everybody, we are live. Let's get some more people into the chat room before we get started. But I have Brother Emeka with me again. Coming back on, we were on last night, and we spoke about is Nigeria the epicenter of coonery, and also we spoke on Niger Delta independence and the other independence movements, and we got into it a little bit, but not fully, in regards to the illusion of Nigerian independence. I know a lot of people are celebrating Nigerian independence tonight, and they were last night. In fact, I might even go hit up a party just because. Don't judge me, Emeka. Don't judge me. But I might go get me some jollof rice and some okra soup tonight myself and enjoy it. But don't judge me. So today we're going to discuss the illusion of Nigerian independence, and also discuss, should we celebrate Nigerian independence, or should we wait to celebrate these other independence movements once they happen, as far as Biafra? And I know Brother Emeka's part of the Niger Delta movement. So should we wait? So that's the topic today. Is Nigerian independence? Is it an illusion? Is it a farce? Because we discussed it in great detail yesterday in regards to Nigerians not having access to the natural resources, how the people of Nigeria aren't benefiting from the natural resources, how many Nigerians see will rather leave the country and pursue opportunities outside of the country than rather build up Nigeria. How many leave for Europe and America and whatnot instead of staying in Nigeria. So is Nigeria really independent? That's the question. Brother Emeka, go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, thanks again. My name is Emeka Ihruoha. I am from Rivers State in the Niger Delta. The name of my ethnic nation is the Ihruoha nation, known as the Ikwere nation. I mean, you can see it on my t-shirt maybe. So, so I'm from Rivers State, Ikwere, and we are an oil producing ethnic nationality, and we are located in Rivers State, Niger Delta. I would say the independence celebration tomorrow, I would say that there's one nation, that one nation has reason, one people has reason to celebrate, and these are the British people. The Nigerian state is a wonderful cash cow for the former colonial administrators and the UK, and definitely they have a lot to celebrate. I mean, Nigeria is a member of Commonwealth. Nigeria gives them cheap crude oil. They export to Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria imports from the UK. The UK makes money from all corners. So definitely the United Kingdom has reason to celebrate. For the Nigerian people, I would say it's an illusion of inclusion, in the sense that people in my region, some people in my region believe that they belong to the Nigerian state, but we definitely do not belong to the Nigerian state, because we're not regarded as equal citizens like the people of the north, who are in control, who have been in control since ever the colonial administrators left Nigeria officially. Yeah, so they have reason to celebrate. They own the oil wells. 80% of the oil wells are owned by North Nigerians, None of my people owns oil on our own soil. Like all the oil is on my soil, but none of my people owns the oil. The oil belongs to the northern cabal, which is being sponsored by the British colonial interest and foreign interest, and they have reason to enjoy, of course. I mean, they own the oil, they are in power, they have everything. We're just third class citizens or slaves, you could say. So I don't think my region, the Niger Delta, has anything to celebrate actually, because it should be a day of mourning, a day of mourning. The only people that can celebrate are the Nigerian occupation forces. The Niger Delta is being literally occupied by the Nigerian occupation forces, and law in Nigeria, Use Act, and it says that whatever is that's, for example, on your land, whatever is under your land, beneath it, everything that's in your land inside, not on the surface but inside, belongs to the state, to the Nigerian state. You don't have any right to your resources there, and the money and it's being sent to the central government on daily basis. So I have nothing to enjoy and to celebrate. My people have nothing to celebrate. The Nigerian occupation forces definitely have something to celebrate with their definitely, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Oh, there's an echo. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Are you? There's a bad echo. Let me ask you that. Are you watching on YouTube?
Me? I'm on the Hangout.
You on the Hangout?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bad echo. Where's this echo coming from? Hello?
Yeah, bro.
Do you hear the echo?
I'm not hearing no echo actually.
You don't hear echo? Okay, well I'm just gonna talk then. So let me ask you this: is the West, since Nigeria has been independent, we'll put that in quotation marks, are they better off, the West, as far as exploiting Nigeria? I mean, the question I want to ask is: anything really changed since Nigeria has been independent in regards to foreign interests? Like, has the foreign interest gotten stronger since Nigeria has been independent, or has it gotten weaker since Nigeria has been independent?
Nigeria is just a puppet state. It's a puppet contraption. It's a geographical expression. Nigeria is no nation of its own. It's a self-sovereign nation. But Nigeria depends on the will. Everything is being decided in London. Nothing is really decided. It's being decided in Abuja, So you see, anytime a new Nigerian president comes out of London to Chatham House to go and kiss some British asses. So it's a tradition, That's the first stop, London has the last word in anything, Nigeria, which is a fact. So especially this administration, and in the history of the Nigerian government, I mean, all administrations have been somehow dependent on London, because London can always push them due to their Western influence and superior influence in the international community into shaping the Nigerian foreign policy or domestic policy. Everything we do in Nigeria is there's no point of having a capital in Nigeria. The capital could as well be in London, because even our current president, is he has been in London most of the time, So to just show you where the power lies. I mean, what nation the fact that his president is mostly in London and not in its own capital, you know. So that alone shows you that it's just a puppet state, you know.
Mm. So can you so I guess Nigeria became so-called, like what was the process? Fight the British, let them kind of just sign off the paperwork and say, hey, we're gonna let you guys be free now.
Nigeria
Whose
lacks,
decision, I guess.
excuse me?
Whose decision was it to allow Nigerian independence? Was it something that Nigerians fought for as far as a battle, or did the British just allow them to be free?
After the Second World War, you know, the British Empire has been a powerful empire. You know, there was at its height, it controlled one third of the surface of the planet, you know, from America to Ireland, over to Malta, then over to Australia, India, parts of China, Indonesia, and places like that. You know, so the British Empire has, and of course many African nations. The British Empire, a large empire until the Second World War, when Hitler Germany bombed the shit out of them, and when they were beaten all over by the German Nazis, and after the Second World War, and after being weakened, you know, Europeans are very smart people, weak, and they can't keep power, can't keep that tight grip, control. They give you a quasi independence.
Right.
Same thing they did in South Africa. The white minority there knew that they couldn't hold on to power for too long. I'm sure 2-3 years, even without the whole process. Before something collapses, and before they get total loss of control, and before losing their face, they give you a de facto quasi grant you that. So the British Empire couldn't hold on to its colonies as well. The Americans have interest to dismantle the British Empire so they could markets of the former colonies, and that's how Britain gave Nigeria independence, because it could hold onto it. 1957, Nigeria could have gotten independence. That's 3 years before 1960. Northern region, which is dominated by Hausa people, moved against that, and the British colonial administrators were pleased by their extreme devotion and servitude to the British Empire, and that's why the British Empire to the northern region in 1960.
Okay. I was going to say, man, so one thing you mentioned was World War II. And something they really don't talk about is Africans' involvement in the war. So did a lot of Nigerians participate in World War II on behalf of the Allies as far as fighting for on behalf of Britain?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they don't talk about that because it's, you know, we.
No. They don't talk about that because it won't promote their ideal role of being a superior empire. They won't like to tell the people that they're dependent. Actually, they were dependent on African and Indian soldiers and resources, you know. So without the colonies, Britain wouldn't have ever survived this, because they are being bombed day and night. Operation Adlertag, where the Germans constantly bombed them with 900 bomber planes for a period of time, and the only lifeline was the colonial asset, and the Second World War made them to lose a lot of face as well, because you can imagine the Africans being controlled and being in servitude in their own African soil, coming British uniform, coming to Europe to fight, then maybe being stationed in London, how Germans bombing London, and seeing how they are dependent on their as well to England. So I'm sure that Africans that came back lost some respect because they saw the colonial masters in need, and I'm sure that as well triggered it triggered the process of independence. It was just that lack of sufficiency by the British Empire that forced them to give independence to Nigeria, and it was not really a fight. Nigeria could have gotten the independence 3 years before that, but nations wanted to keep the status quo, and the British colonialists were very grateful for their sense of loyalty, and yeah, if I would say so.
No, there's a story that my Senegalese brother Hamadou, he tells me in regards to the Senegalese soldiers who fought on behalf of the French during World War II. And so at the end of the war, they were supposed to get paid, and the French refused to pay them. And so once again, they asked to get paid. And so the French had these soldiers executed for wanting to get paid, which is so crazy. But if you look at countries like Senegal, they're still pretty much controlled by France for the most part. And, instances like that never brought up.
Definitely, 14 Francophone nations are being controlled by France. I mean, the central bank is in Paris. They literally print their money in Paris. They pay tax. I mean, without Africa, France wouldn't even have the current status it has now. A lot of Paris, definitely.
So what does Nigeria need to do to truly gain its independence? I know yet last night we talked about the only way Nigeria will experience true independence is if each independence movement gains its independence. Is that the only solution? So you're saying that there cannot be one functional, independent Nigeria?
Well,
You there, fam? Yeah, go ahead and talk. I have to go check. I have to go check on something. But please go ahead and answer the question for people in the chat room. I just have to check on something real quick.
Okay. To be very honest, Nigeria was designed by foreigners and not by Africans, and he who designs the product will always know its weakness and its strength. And we can't really know the weakness and the strength of Nigeria because we were never on the table. We were never invited when Nigeria was drawn on the map. So it's quite impossible, I would say, for Nigeria to come out of that, because Nigeria was created to not function. Because you can imagine Nigeria has different regions with different cultures, different languages, different ethnic nations, and different religious beliefs. All these things are affecting the Nigerian state, and there's no way Nigeria can progressive or function because it was designed to have domestic and internal problems. So you can see that the white colonialists created nations across ethnic borders, lingual borders, and cultural borders, religious borders. You have more homogeneous nations than heterogeneous nations. Nigeria is a very heterogeneous nation with different religions, different value systems, and it's meant to fail. Look at the EU. The EU has always refused Turkey to join them because you know that they have different value systems. The EU is a Christian club, for example, and Turkey is a Muslim nation, and they have different value systems. They have a different culture and everything. So to make sure the EU remains harmonic, they made sure the EU remains to some extent. So in the EU, you have Christian nations, majority Christian nations, and typical European nations, and they won't let Turkey in because they know that Turkey would cause some form of disharmony, if I would say so. So Nigeria can't function like that because even Nigeria, it's programming by the colonial administrators. They created these different regions, joined different regions together. The North is Muslim, has a different value system, and the South Christian has a different value system, has different languages, different cultures, and this was deliberately done to make sure that there's constant tension in future. You could exploit that gap of tensions, and you could always have one group to use against another group. I mean, you can't do that in Germany. In Germany, you have Germans. You have German Christians in Germany, and you can hardly use one group against the other. They're all the same people. But in Nigeria, you can use different groups against different people. It's divide and rule. It's the concept of divide and rule, and that's what they did in Syria as well, where they gave an Alawite Shiite minority the power over Sunni majority, and same in Iraq, where they gave a Sunni minority power over a Shiite majority. So it's a game. It's a game, and they played it smartly in Nigeria. And Nigeria can't function like that unless we get homogeneous nations with same value system, so we can have harmonize the nations.
You know what Melissa says in the chat room, the conversation last night was deep. What's this? I'm just echoing like crazy. I don't know why. Hold on, let me check. Okay, it's better. So Melissa said in the chat room that the conversation last night was deep as far as Niger, the epicenter of coonery and Niger Delta Biafra. Let me ask you this. How much does coonery play in the illusion of Nigerian independence?
Well, coonery, I would say, plays a major role because white is right. What the British colonial administrators is like the word of God to them, to most Nigerians, and I mean, we have a colonial educational system.
Right.
You teach Nigerian kids that a Portuguese white man discovered River Niger. Psychologically, that is bullshit. That is crazy. We were there at the river before white people even knew Africa exists. How can you now tell your kids that a white man discovered you? We still teach our children from the eyes of a colonial conqueror. We don't really teach our children stuff from that view, which is very wrong.
Okay. Someone in the chat room said that the Niger Delta isn't homogeneous.
It's not. It's not. It's not, but it's more homogeneous. In the Niger Delta, we have the majority is Christian. We have same value systems, a same value system. I would say also 80 to 90%. So it's definitely more homogeneous. I mean, in Niger Delta, one thing in common. In the Niger Delta, we have suffered under the Nigerian occupation forces and the Biafran occupation forces.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have people in the Niger Delta saying they want a third solution in Niger Delta Republic, in which the people, the oil-rich ethnic nations, South geopolitical zone in Nigeria, form a nation, the Niger Delta Republic, which is going to be the richest nation in Africa, providing everything Nigeria has, we provide. So it would be per capita far. It would be a per capita at least 5 to 8 times richer than Nigeria.
Okay. He also said, his name is Chocolate. He said the Niger Delta will not work. It's just based on oil. That's it. What are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, if you look at Saudi Arabia, I mean, that is pretty much based on oil. It seems like they're doing well.
Right? I mean, it's them working, right?
Right.
Saudi Arabia based on oil from day one. And look, all those people hating on the Niger Delta have no clue. They see, and so what? The Niger Delta is a union of oil producing ethnic nationalities. And so what? So what?
Okay.
We have one thing in common. We are minorities. We don't belong to any of the three major ethnic nations, the Wazobia nations, as we call them, and we have our interests. It's a union of interests. You can say it like the UAE or something like that, you know, United Arab Emirates. So you can say it as a United Niger Delta ethnic nations. You know?
Mm-hmm. He's saying that there's already a lot of strife in the so-called Niger Delta internally, and then he said the worry crisis. What is that?
The Warri crisis was an unfortunate problem, and that's another point in the divide and rule mentality of the Nigerian occupation forces and state, which was introduced in our region. In the Warri crisis, the Ijaw ethnic nation and the Ishekiri ethnic nations had a clash over a local government. And
Mm-hmm.
how does it work? Abuja, the northern cabals in Abuja, governments, and these are political districts, administrative districts. So they will create a local government for they would put two different ethnic nations in one local government. They put four ethnic nations in one state. So instead of giving each ethnic nation a state, they create the potential of tension and internal violence by putting them in one political district and giving them, for example, one local government for both sides to share. The Warri crisis was to be placed in the Ishekiri area, and the Ijaws were not happy with that. And then I think it was sent from the Ishekiri area to the Ijaws, and then back and forth, something like that. So they fought each other over decisions made in Abuja. Abuja is the cause. The Nigerian state is the cause of those tensions in our region, because they will cleverly give us one LGA to fight over when they could create more LGAs. In Kano State has 44 local governments. My state, River State, has only 23 local governments. And they use this to create tension. So if I give people one local government to fight over, I will always have their heads in tension, you know, so I can easier control them. State is the problem of the Niger Delta. Once the Nigerian state lets us go, we are going to have a separate nation in which every ethnic nation shall have its own region, autonomous region with a parliament and a prime minister, similar to the way the UK has a Scottish parliament, a Welsh parliament, an Irish, Northern Irish parliament, an English parliament. Total autonomy for each state, and it should be a loose confederacy.
So if the majority of the wealth, who's this echoing? The people in the chat room, do you hear echo? Okay, that's gone. All right, so if the majority of the wealth, okay, of Nigeria comes from the Niger Delta, if you guys become independent, how will, I guess, we'll say Biafra, and how will Nigeria survive?
Is that my problem?
Okay, all right.
No, I mean, they're definitely going to survive because we have all survived. We were never together in the first place. It was this crazy white man that came from England and drew a map and put us together, you know. But we have lived before Nigeria, we will live after Nigeria. So the way Nigeria is to survive is up to the Nigerians. The way Biafra is to survive is up to the Biafrans. My problem is how I and my ethnic nation are going to build up a functioning and efficient nation in the Niger Delta Republic.
Okay.
Definitely Nigeria is going to survive in that as well.
Was Goodluck Jonathan, was he Muslim or was he Christian?
Christian.
Okay, so it seems as if, does it matter what religion the Nigerian president is? So are you guys really that divided by religion?
Yes, Nigeria is definitely divided by religion, culture, and other things. So it matters. And the Western nations like the United Kingdom always support the Muslim North, the northern region. That's why the last time Prince Charles visited Nigeria, he visited the northern region, and the last time Tony Blair visited Nigeria, he as well visited the northern region. So they are Christians. They never visit the British, the Christian part of Nigeria. So to them, it's all about oil money and having their gatekeepers, the bulldogs in Nigeria in check, you know.
So are Nigerians more prideful about Nigeria, or are they more do they hold more pride in their individual tribes?
Nobody, no Nigerian would die for the Nigerian flag. No Nigerian. I am an Ihruoha man first. I'm not gonna die for the Nigerian flag. It's not my flag. It's a British flag. It's not my flag. It's not my nation. You must understand that this is not. It's not made. We were never on the table when this was constructed and created. So definitely, people take more pride in their ethnic nation and in their region and religion than I think Nigeria comes last. To be honest.
What role does religion play in Nigeria not being truly independent?
Well, when you say truly independent, Nigeria is officially independent, but it can on its own. I repeat, it can on its own not function because it was set to have conflict in future. Nigeria was there were two parts of Nigeria. There was Northern Protectorate, and there was Southern Protectorate. So these two parts were united in 1914. Reasons. So there was the Northern Nigerian and Southern Nigerian, and it was programmed for the future to have this divide and rule tension, and to have a gap in the unity, so you can exploit the nation. Religion in the North, the British people used indirect rule. They were ruling via the sultan and emirs, and in the South they had kings and so on. So religion in independence doesn't really play a role. Of course, if Nigeria had one religion, it would be easier. It would be more easier a little bit to have some form of unity. But due to the even the South, we don't have unity due to cultural and regional interests. And between Biafra and the Niger Delta as well, which are both Christian regions, you also have some form of tension and understanding, and really that out of that big a problem. It causes, religion has caused a lot of religious violence and so on, but I wouldn't say it really plays a role in independence, because even the South, within the Christian regions, we have a lot of problems.
All right, someone is asking, someone in the chat room, Jim Dixon said, you look like his cousin. What tribe are you? What tribe are you, Emeka?
I'm from the Ihruoha tribe, Ikwere. So, Ihruoha, Ikwere.
So you're not Igbo?
No.
Okay.
But many have form of, it's a misunderstanding often, because many of my people Igbo first names due to the cultural assimilation, and as well due to a lot of different tribes. So over the centuries, we have a lot of, like in my tribe, we have a lot of people that have Igbo mothers, and due to this kind of cultural mixture, we have different names.
Okay. So are you Christian, Emeka?
I'm a Christian, yeah.
Okay. So Melissa in the chat room said that you speak often, and I guess you criticize the Europeans' role in colonializing Nigeria, but you follow his religion. What are your thoughts about that when people say that? That Christianity is the religion of the European?
Melissa said Christianity is the religion of the Europeans.
Yes.
Okay. But Christianity was brought to the Europeans, right? I mean, it was brought to the Europeans at some point, right?
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. Yeah. I guess. I mean, I guess.
Okay. Let me answer.
Go ahead. Bring it. Go ahead.
Christianity is not an European religion.
Okay.
History and all its instrumentalization, it has become somehow European religion in our mindset. But Christianity was brought to Europeans from the Middle East, from the East is part of Africa.
Okay, so are you a Coptic Christian from Ethiopia? Are you a Coptic Christian? That's the Christianity from Ethiopia, correct? The Coptics, right?
Catholic, you said?
No. You said that you said that Christianity was brought from the Ethiopians. Is that what you said?
I said from the Middle East.
Okay.
Of Africa. Middle East belongs to Africa, actually. And of course, Ethiopians were one of the first Christians, Christianity before Europeans.
Right, correct. In the Coptic Church, the Coptic Church.
Years, 400 years before Europeans. So, the European religion. The Europeans are masters of marketing, and the old. I mean, for me, the Old Testament. If you look at the Old Testament, it's a concept. You know, I give you some examples. I grew up in Europe. For example, circumcision, is a tradition in my place. Male circumcision. All males in my place are being circumcised on the 7th, 8th day. And in Europe, circumcision is not a tradition. So if it's an European religion, it should have its European elements in it. So if you look at the Old Testament, it has more of African elements and bride price, the Old Testament, stuffs like that. So I don't see Christianity as an European religion, actually an African religion, but it has been corrupted and repackaged by Europeans. It has been translated from Aramaic, Hebrew to Greek to German to English. So when you translate a lot, you also lose a lot, So there are many things we don't know about Christianity, I would say. Still a big mystery for many people, but I would never say it's an European religion. I mean, don't get deceived for painting a white Scandinavian Jesus. The Jesus pictures look like a Scandinavian. They don't look like someone from the Middle East, from Africa.
Right.
And if you look at the white Jesus picture, he looks like a Norwegian.
Right.
But you will find someone like that in that region. So don't get confused. It's if you research the first paintings of Jesus Christ, of Yeshua, because there's no letter J in the Hebrew alphabet. If you research the first paintings, you will discover that they are all brown skinned with nappy hair, and this is no coincidence. As well, even the Bible, in Revelations, in a vision of Jesus, he was described with bronze skin and hair of wool. So we shouldn't believe everything they tell us. We should try and reason on our own as Africans.
Right. So why is it that, and I'm not going to say the majority of Nigerians because I would be stereotyping, but from what I see the Norwegian Jesus, the Scandinavian Jesus, that picture all over Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, Africa. Why is that? Because I guarantee you, if a person like you comes with a picture of a black, nappy-haired Jesus, those Nigerians will say that you are deceitful and that we need to follow the Scandinavian Jesus.
Bro, it happens to me. I used to post a picture of black Jesus and black angels. Blocked from some Catholics, they were like, the inbox were like, "Hey, you're crazy, And when I told them all these things I told you before, they were like, "You're." So we have this white is right. Your colonial master tells you is correct. It's just a pity, you know. I was speaking with some girl in my place, and she won't like to pray with me because in my head I believe that God is black and Jesus is black, and you know, so it's programming. No, no, really. She told me
No,
to
I
tell
believe
her.
you. I believe you. And,
And she told her not to pray with me.
I believe you.
Pray with me, you know. It's crazy, you know. So you know, we have been totally deceived, and we have been taught to see ourselves as a form of mistake. You know, I would say.
Listen, I've had black Christians tell me, well, African Christians and black Christians tell me that Africans are cursed and they are not the chosen people, that Jews are the true chosen people because it's in the Bible. So how can you gain independence by thinking like that? I'm dead serious.
Yeah, but who are the Jews? Anyway, topic for another day. But
right.
Yeah, you can't get.
Well, the Igbo consider themselves as the Jews, correct?
Yeah, but that's wrong because the test that was taken in Texas came out negative.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has that topic has died in actual death. So listen, my problem as well with Africans is, see, you can't tell me you don't like Christians or Europeans, white Jesus, blah blah. Then you go for a this Judaism stuff and stuff like that. You know, we have to understand one thing. No matter what we do, Africans first, we're black people first. You know?
Mm-hmm.
We should stop trying to relate ourselves to non-blacks. You know, like the hope of these many Biafrans was like, if they say they're Jews and Israel is their relation, Israel is coming to rescue them or something like that. And these are white people. They don't care. You know, it's all about business. It's all about money. So we can see that Israel doesn't care about them. Israel doesn't care about anybody in Africa. So nobody should waste his time.
Okay. Let's see what other questions we have in the chat room. Paul Irving says, so too, if you do the research, you will find that all Nigerians tribes comes from the same root. However, it seems you dismiss that. Is that true?
Well, it might be true, but we're talking about the current reality.
Right. Okay. Exactly.
Right now, I know who I am. I have my interests, and that's it.
Okay.
We could boil it down to humanity, you know. I mean, come on. So.
Do you think that if, and not just Nigerians, but Africans, but let's deal with Nigeria. If they had one central, just one religion, if they just got rid of the whole, I know it'd be hard, the whole tribe concept, do you think then they could truly unify? Or am I being too ambitious that would never happen?
You know, I mean,
because China did it somewhat.
Yeah, but
with the Cultural Revolution.
But being an Ihruoha man makes me African. Being African makes me human. So it's my identity. I am an African because I am from Ihruoha, my place. So I mean, the concept of ethnic nations, I don't think really you can because we have our own way of dancing.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own way of cooking, eating, dressing. So we have our no. It's really not possible. You can't forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria would be easier to handle if we had a dominant culture. But in Nigeria, we don't have a dominant culture. We have three major cultures and many minor cultures.
Mm.
So, for example, India is a nation with a dominant Hindu culture. China is a nation with a dominant Mandarin Buddhist culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it's like 80% dominant culture and 20%, 80% will lead the way. But in Nigeria, you have 30%, 30%, 30%, and 10% minorities. It's too even. There is no dominant culture that we say we are the dominant culture. We are going to push the way forward because we are the majority, and our culture is the dominant culture in our nation.
Mm. So, what can Nigerians unify on as a collective so they could truly experience a true independence? What can Nigerians rally behind together? Let's put together. Let's take away the religion, because I guess you guys can't unify on that. You can't unify behind one tribe or whatnot. What is there that's, I guess, tangible that will can possibly unify all Nigerians?
What can you for all Nigerians? Wealth,
Okay.
wealth could,
Mm-hmm.
but Nigeria is a poor nation, so that's off the table.
No, but you guys have the resources though. You guys have the resources.
Nigeria has no resources. The Niger that has resources.
Okay, so you're just saying it's over. I don't want to unite with Nigeria at all. You're saying it's off the table. You want your independence. But if Nigeria, I guess, came to the Niger Delta region or the Niger Delta independence movement and said, look, let's work things out. Let's unite. Let's have one Nigeria. Let's experience a true independence for Nigeria, not a Biafra, not a Niger Delta, not a Nigeria, not a Boko Haram, one Nigeria. What would be the demands, I guess, of the Niger Delta people where we could have one Nigeria, a truly independent and united Nigeria?
Well, I must say this again. Nigeria has no resources. The Niger that has all the resources. 90% of the budget is being provided from my region. I got oil on my farmland. So we are feeding Nigeria, and it's like a ratio of 1 to 10. One Niger Delta is feeding 10 Nigerians. So what is Nigeria bringing to the table? Nothing. In a relationship, you must have two people, you must have a group of, if you want something to work, everybody has to bring something to the table. The fact that Nigeria cannot bring anything to the table already disqualifies arrangement. We don't need Nigeria. We do not need Nigeria. We are better off without Nigeria.
Hmm.
In GDP per capita, richer than Nigeria, almost 10 times. We do not need. We don't. We do not need Nigeria. So wealth could be something that hungry man is an angry man, and if a man feeds well, he's gonna chill more. But there's nothing Nigeria brings to the table.
Hmm.
Like you live in a flat with 5 flatmates, and you're the only one working, and you're the only one providing food every day. And you see people eating every day from the food you provide, and you don't even eat equal as those you provide for. Yeah, at some point they're gonna say, you know what, I'm moving out of this house. It's over. I'm okay. And that's the same situation with us Nigerian doctors. And puts nothing on the table. Nigeria adds no value in our day-to-day life. That's why it's gonna be.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Chocolate in the chat room said, this is how Niger Delta is misleading. The oil producing areas is very heterogeneous, from the Yoruba Ondo state to rivers to Akwa Imbo, who have the biggest share of the oil production. Is there any truth to what he's saying?
Anyway, the Niger Delta, most of the oil is being produced in River State, Bayelsa State, and Delta State, Akwa Ibom. Yeah. But heterogeneous in what way? Are we talking about religion? Because these are all Christian regions. And these are all people that have been trading with each other, that have been marrying each other, and both have one thing in common. Both regions suffered under Nigeria and Biafra, under the Western and the Eastern region. So it's more, we have more interests in common. We are oil producing ethnic nations, and we're ethnic nations that have been treated by the Nigerian state and the Biafran state. So, therefore, our union makes sense. Heterogeneous, even in each of these states, you have heterogeneous elements. But to some extent, compared to the greater Nigerian project, it's more homogeneous.
Do you think, okay, your I guess attitude towards Nigeria? Again, if Nigeria came and said, let's unite, you guys said, no, we're not going to. Do you think that's a form of divide and conquer?
If that's a form of divide and conquer.
I'm asking.
But Nigeria wasn't even created by us. The Niger Delta would be in the region created by Niger Deltas. We come together and say, hey, yeah, let's do this. How is it a divide and conquer? Nigeria, in the first place, is not an African concept. We're trying to keep an European concept alive. You see how crazy that is? Nigeria is an European idea and a European concept. We're trying to keep an European concept alive. We never created Nigeria. Nigeria is not an African nation. It is an European created nation. The Niger Delta is an African nation. Because Niger Deltans come together and say, okay, we want to be one nation.
Okay. Let's see if we got any more questions in here. Self-Emancipation said, sad to see your show has become a stage of propaganda, preaching anything but the progress and development of Africans. It's unfortunate because the true colors have been displayed by, I don't know what he's talking about, whatever. Let's see here. You have people in here that agree with you. The Nigerian government is full of white-backed incompetence. Then they are a rogue state. How do you feel about that?
It's true. I mean, we don't even have good oil deals. They just pay for the land in Nigeria. They don't pay for the resources. So they pay some money for the land and they suck out all the oil they want. Nigeria doesn't have a good deal with the European nations. And we as Africans, I mean, I am a little bit irritated from the first question. I mean, someone that said it's propaganda or so. How do we move Africa forward? Why? That is coonery. That is coonery because he's trying to keep a Nigerian project alive and trying. I know people would like to hear some stuff like, yeah, Nigeria, blah 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 blah. Nigeria was not created by Africans. Any African trying to keep Nigeria alive is indirectly cooning for white people. He's indirectly cooning for white people because this is what white people wanted for themselves. We have to create nations. Africans must create their own nations. We must stop these colonial boundaries. We must tear up all boundaries and redefine ourselves.
Mm. And this will be the last question. Well, actually, I have two more questions.
Okay.
But someone asked a great question in the chat room. If someone could actually provide a detailed plan on how these new nations would self-govern, I'd have no problem. How would the Niger Delta self-govern?
Good. The Niger Delta Republic will be a union of Niger Delta federations. It will be a confederation. A confederation. That's a union of federation, a union of constitutions. A union of federations. Each federation would have its own parliament and prime minister, have its own taxation, have its own policing force, and its own educational ministry. So it will be a total autonomous federation with its own legislation and judiciary, police force. So this will be like a union of nations. So in my federation, I will be policeman, blah blah blah, and you have your own federation, where you can be your own policeman, blah blah. So you don't have space for conflict. You control your resources. I would control my resources. My resources will be used in my federation, my region, and I would pay tax to the. I would pay little tax to the confederation, to the central confederation government.
Mm-hmm.
A decentralized, very loose and weak center, but powerful regions, like Belgium. Belgium has a confederation. You see, this is confederation at the moment. Belgium has three federations. That's Wallonie, Flandern, and Brussels. They don't have one national ministry. Belgium doesn't have a ministry for education, for example. Wallonie has a ministry for education, and Flanders has a ministry for education. So that's how it would work,
Mm-hmm.
So we have different regions, self-governing regions with their own resource control, their own policing, education, taxation, everything. So it's like a United States of the Niger Delta, something like that.
And last question, because we talked about it briefly last night. What can you go into detail about how Nigeria got the name of Nigeria? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, Frederick Lugard, the British administrator of Nigeria, invited his mistress, Flora Shaw, to visit him in Nigeria. And here, because before Nigeria was created, they came up like, okay, let's create these two, let's put these two regions together, the north and south, and let's give it a name. So she came up with Niger area. Black area, Niger area, River Niger. That Niger area is the name. Niger area, Nigeria. That's how it came. That's how we got this name. It was set up by a British woman in London.
The mistress.
Which
The mistress.
his mistress. Later, he married her, but she was known for hanging around British colonial administrators and governors. So she was like specialized in that field, you know, and hooked up with Frederick Lugard, and she was his mistress. And later on, she married him. You know?
Okay. People in the chat room are saying it means Niger area after the Niger Coast Protectorate.
River Niger. What does River Niger mean? Black River. We're saying the same thing.
Okay, he's saying that Nigeria started as the Niger Coast Protectorate.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit because Nigeria, there was no Nigeria. Nigeria, there was an oil protectorate. There was the Northern Protectorate, the Southern Protectorate. All these protectorates were put together into one Nigeria. Today, we have tried it. We have tried the Nigerian project. It's a disaster. Forget about it. If black people in America want Africa to move forward, they must pray for this integration of Nigeria, because you're gonna have Nigeria depends on foreign influence and interest, and Nigeria is not able to even say a word about the plight of Black Americans because of its foreign influence, because of the foreign influence in Nigeria. So, do you think a Nigerian president is going to talk about your plight when he's going to London to get permission to wipe his ass? So, just forget about it.
I mean, I agree with that. We all know that. Again, every African nation, for the most part, has a consulate or embassy in D.C. or New York, and they see what Black Americans face, the issues we face. They never speak out on it. So, I mean, you won't get any argument with me over that.
They won't speak out. They won't speak out because Nigeria hasn't spoken out.
Mm-hmm.
Why would the smaller nation speak out when the biggest nation hasn't spoken out? So Nigeria is misleading. I've never set a good example for Africa. Nigeria introduced tribal violence to Africa. Nigeria introduced religious violence to Africa. Nigeria introduced regional violence in Africa. Nigeria has introduced a lot of bullshit in Africa, I must say. So you have a family of 5, and the biggest brother is fucking up everything. He's not going to set a good example. So what do you expect from the others when the most senior is not setting a good example? Nigeria is not setting a good example. People look up to Nigeria, and Nigeria is a failed state. And you're looking up to a failed state. So you think it's normal to be a failed state. So we need to dismantle Nigeria because Nigeria is not going to work, and another nation has to take over this position of the Nigerian state, of the first position. Definitely not South Africa, but another nation, you know.
Okay.
Maybe the Niger Republic.
All right, LEJ, you mentioned in the chat, Black Americans are Americans, no recent Africans. So what does that have to do with countries like Nigeria not speaking out in regards to the plight that Black Americans have faced? And the reason why I say that is if there's a terrorist attack in France, Nigeria, all the African countries, all the Francophone countries are the first ones to say, pray for France and speak out. So I got to disagree with you on that one, LEJ. But in closing, Emeka, is there anything positive you would like to say? Because we got to end on a positive note. I mean, what can you say positive in regards to Nigeria or Africa as a whole? Something optimistic. I know it's in you. Come on.
Africa is very positive. Listen, Africa is the best on this planet, you know. Africa is a wonderful place with a lot of opportunities, and even the Niger Delta is a wonderful place, a very rich place. Don't be discouraged, but we're trying to correct the mistakes made, the intentional mistakes made by the white people. So don't take what I'm saying like I'm trying to. I am more African than anyone that is saying he wants to keep Nigeria together because we're trying to go back to our roots and as well say we have to design our own nations. You know, we can't come from London to design our nation. Positive. Africa is a nice place, definitely, and the best place to go. I would advise. I would advise one thing that hurts as well is I noticed that many African Americans don't travel to Africa, but to Europe or to Asia or to Latin America, you know, but won't use that money to travel and come and see Africa. You know, I think our people should try and visit Africa and Nigeria. I have to say again, there's nothing I can say that would make me want to keep Nigeria together. Nigeria has to be dismantled. It has to be. We are doing the black man, we're doing the black race with favor. Nigeria is draining down the black race. Nigeria is drawing down the black race. Nigeria is is shaming Africa with all its incompetence.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, everybody, thank you for coming in on the chat this Saturday. What time is it in Atlanta? Right now it's 4:45 on a Saturday. I know there's college football on, but you guys decided, to spend your time with us, and I greatly appreciate it. We will be back on soon. Brother Emeka, thank you for coming on again. I really appreciate, you taking time out of your evening, because I know it's or night, because I know it's nighttime where you're at. To come on. I really appreciate it. Guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Search for Ihruoha on Instagram. Like the pictures, please follow me as well. Like I said, I've been telling people I'll release my coffee table book, Africa Personified, via Instagram for right now. There will be a physical copy or hardcover copy of it as well for people to purchase soon. Also go to Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. Search for Ihruoha's my handle. Also go to dynastysamir.com. Go to search for Ihruoha.com, and then go to Amazon.com and search the name Dynasty Amir. Buy a book. Nancy, you came late. You came to the chat late. We're done now, so you got to watch the replay. Emeka, please share with people your contact information, and I'll also put it in the chat and also in the description box. If people want to, just in case people want to get in contact with you.
Yeah, you can contact me on Facebook. My name is Emeka Ihruoha. And yeah, you can just send me a friend request and you follow me up.
Okay, cool. All right, people, enjoy your Saturday. I might come back on today. I doubt it, though. It might happen. But for sure, I will be on tomorrow. So Dynasty Amir, search for Ihruoha, the Kapitan Don. Doug, what's up, man? You're late too. Or Doug, you might have been on the whole time. I don't know. But peace, Doug. Shout out to Nancy. Shout out to people, Tech Nubian, Beast Mode. I see you. A lot of people in the chat that Michael O. A lot of people in the chat who are regulars. Thank you for coming on this Saturday. Again, guys, search for Ihruoha, Dynasty Amir, the Kapitan Don. Till next time, peace.